Namaskar, this is Firstpost and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. 2 weeks, some tough posturing and no proof later, Justin Trudeau is changing his tone. He has spoken again about having constructive relations with India. His foreign minister has spoken too. She says they want to engage with India privately. Should have thought about it before they pulled off that stunt in Parliament. Their opposition is telling them to handle this professionally now. Tonight, we look at the statements and tell you what has triggered this shift. Meanwhile, the new regime in the Maldives is walking the talk on India out. They want Indian troops to leave. Will election rhetoric spill into policy moves? We'll discuss that. Is Imran Khan being slow poisoned in jail? His lawyer says so. Is Iran looking at another Masha Amini? A teenager is in a coma after being targeted by the morality police there. Did a Chinese nuclear submarine meet with an accident recently? A report says 55 PLA soldiers on board have died. In the US, the Republican Party is divided. The House of Representatives has removed its speaker. It's gold rush for India at the Asian Games led by Neeraj Chopra. And would you consider a bachelor's degree in influencing? A university is offering it. We'll discuss how this marks a shift. The headlines first. Azerbaijan's president refuses to meet Armenia's prime minister at an EU-hosted meet. The meeting on Karabakh was to take place on Thursday in Spain. Azerbaijan wanted Turkey's participation. Germany and France opposed it. So Baku backed out, saying the atmosphere in Europe is hostile. Russian President Vladimir Putin will visit Kyrgyzstan next week. The International Criminal Court had issued an arrest warrant for him in the month of March. And since then, Putin has not traveled abroad. His last international trip was in December 2022 when he visited Kyrgyzstan and Belarus. Rishi Sunak kickstarts the UK's election season. He addresses the Conservative Party's annual conference. Sunak announces the decision to scrap a part of a high-speed rail scheme, a move which will upset some Tories. Sunak has to rally his party to win the election, which is due by January 2025. In India, at least 23 soldiers are missing after a flash flood in Sikkim. 20 civilians are also missing after a cloudburst triggered flash floods in the Teesta River. A massive search operation has been launched. Prime Minister Modi speaks to Sikkim's chief minister and assures him of support. A tourist bus in Venice plunges from a bridge, killing more than 20 people. 2 children and the bus driver are among the casualties. The electric bus burst into flames after crashing. Italian authorities are probing what caused the incident. And it's raining medals for India at the Asian Games. India win the archery mixed team compound gold. The medal tally is now at 81, the highest ever for India at the Asian Games. Two weeks is a long time in politics. You can accuse a country of murder and then profess friendship. Justin Trudeau is trying it. On September 18th, he blamed India for the death of a Khalistani terrorist. Today is the 4th of October, and the same Justin Trudeau is now talking about constructive relations with India. He has changed his tone, and how? Listen to this.
Canada has declared its deep concerns to the top intelligence and security officials of the Indian government. Any involvement of a foreign government in the killing of a Canadian citizen on Canadian soil is an unacceptable violation of our sovereignty.
We're going through an extremely challenging time with India right now. We're not looking to escalate, as I've said.
We're not looking to escalate. As far as U-turns go, this is a spectacular one. The Prime Minister has mellowed his tone, so has his team. Canada's Foreign Minister railed against India 2 weeks back. Now she says she wants to talk to India, but privately.
I expect India to fully collaborate with us and ultimately to get to the bottom of this. And we see this possible breach of sovereignty as completely unacceptable. We will continue to engage privately because we think that diplomatic conversations are best when they remain private.
You see the change of tone. After publicly provoking and accusing India, Canada is now seeking private talks. They want to settle this behind closed doors. They want to secure ties with India. It's a wise approach, even though it comes late. Trudeau was on a mission to discredit India. He's now facing the repercussions. Tonight, we'll tell you about them. How Justin Trudeau's campaign blew up in his face. Let's begin with the latest statements. What do you think triggered this talk of constructive relations? India's firm response and bold moves. We told you about this yesterday. India could expel dozens of Canadian diplomats. There are 62 of them stationed in India. At least 41 of them have been asked to leave. And this has led to chaos in Ottawa. Prime Minister Trudeau is feeling the heat. The opposition in Canada is raising the temperature.
How concerned are you that India wants dozens of Canadian diplomats kicked out, and what would you do differently?
Very, and I would be professional.
Handle it professionally. That's the message to Trudeau. It's good advice. Canada is mobilizing its diplomats. They want to talk to India. They want to avoid a complete collapse of the relationship. And this is not because they've had a change of heart. It's because of their politics. Trudeau wants to dial down the rhetoric because it is hurting him. It may cost him politically. The constituents he wanted to appease are feeling alienated. Almost 5% of Canada's population is of Indian origin, including Sikhs. 5% of the population, and they're not happy about this turn of events. The eviction of diplomats is a serious step, not one or two, but 41 of them. New Delhi is yet to confirm these reports, but Ottawa is clearly worried. Usually such treatment is reserved for countries like Pakistan. In fact, India has never removed diplomats from any other mission in this fashion. If New Delhi pushes through, Canada's diplomatic presence will suffer a blow. And the biggest impact will be on visas. That's the main job of any diplomatic mission, receiving visa applications, processing them. And Canada gets a large volume of applications. And this is across various categories. Take student visas, for example. In this category, Indians top the charts. I have some data from last year. In 2022, Canada issued almost 550,000 study permits. More than 225,000 of these were Indian students. So more than 40% went to Indians. What about work permits? Canada has issued more than 200,000 permits this year. This is in the first 7 months of 2023, 2 lakh permits. And these are temporary work visas. Canada is also adding a high number of permanent residents, what they call PRs, permanent residents. On this front too, Indians top the list. Do you know how many PRs were issued last year? More than 118,000. Indians got 27% of them. So the number of applications is quite high, and it's growing every year, which is why Canada wants to keep a large staff in India, especially at the High Commission in New Delhi. But India wants to kick out 2/3 of their diplomats. It will impact their work. Yes, Indians will be inconvenienced, but Trudeau has more to lose here. The diaspora has started to complain. They're worried about New Delhi's countermeasures. Earlier, India also suspended visa services for all Canadians. A few days back, the suspension orders were extended worldwide, meaning Canadians are barred everywhere now. No Indian mission will entertain them, not even in a third country. And this is serious. The India-Canada relationship thrived on people-to-people exchanges, and this could become the biggest casualty of Trudeau's fight. The Indian community in Canada is raising concerns. A trade group in Surrey has spoken out. I have a quote from them. Businesses are feeling that their trade with India is stalled. The future remains uncertain. And there is great concern as well because of significant family ties that our community has with India and visits that have been scheduled and are to be scheduled. Now, Surrey has a large Indian community in Canada. It is also the place where Hardeep Singh Nijjar was shot. It was his death that kicked off this diplomatic row. Nijjar was a Khalistani. India had declared him a terrorist. 2 weeks back, Justin Trudeau raised this death in Parliament. He blamed India for the killing. He demanded that India join the Canadian probe. India called the claim absurd. It asked Canada to give proof. So far, Ottawa has not provided anything, but some stories were leaked. One of them said Canada had intercepts of conversations among Indian diplomats. They haven't released anything in public yet. What about the murder probe? The shooting happened in the month of June. Almost 3 months later, Canada has not made even a single arrest. And now it wants private conversations with India. These flip-flops are making just one party look bad, Justin Trudeau and his Khalistani backers. Some big changes in the Maldives. India Out is not a campaign slogan anymore. It is now government policy. Last weekend, the Maldives elected a new president. His name is Mohammad Muizzu. Among his many campaign promises was India Out, to expel Indian soldiers from the Maldives. Now, as president-elect, he's sticking to that. Listen to Muizzu's latest statement. This is what he said. Those who have deployed troops here would not want to keep them here if we don't want it. The people have decided and don't want Indian troops to stay in the Maldives. Now, I know you have questions, like why does India have soldiers in the Maldives in the first place? And how many soldiers do we have? Don't think of this as some full-fledged operation by India. Reports say just 75 Indian troops are based in the Maldives. And this is not even an official figure, this is an estimate. Their job is to operate aircraft. India has gifted 2 helicopters and 1 Dornier aircraft to the Maldives. The Indian troops fly these machines. Plus, they're building a naval harbour. Maldivian troops will be trained there. Not all of this information is in the public domain, only parts of it has been revealed. The rest is shrouded in secrecy, and that is one reason for all the speculation. But what is the new president's concern? He says India wants a permanent presence in the Maldives, maybe like a base or an outpost. New Delhi has rejected this allegation, but in the Maldives it's a lightning rod. Muizzu and his party campaigned on this issue. They made India the villain. In that context, his latest announcement is not surprising. It's not unprecedented either. In 2018, something similar happened. Then President Abdullah Yameen asked India to end all military presence, soldiers, helicopters, everything. India out. But in September that year, Yameen was ousted. He lost the presidency to Ibrahim Joly, that's the outgoing president. So from 2018 till now, Joly was the president of the Maldives, and Joly's foreign policy was India first. Now the Maldives has had another election, and this time Yameen was not on the ballot. He was convicted and jailed for corruption, so he could not contest. So his party nominated Muizzu instead, sort of like a proxy candidate. And now Muizzu is repaying the favor. Do you know what's the first thing he did after winning the election? He got Yameen released from jail. The ex-president is now under house arrest. But will he dictate the government from there? That is the question. Will Yameen be the power behind this president? That's the big question here, because Yameen is the brain behind India Out. He started that campaign. It's personal and political for him. And how has India reacted to this regime change? Well, publicly, the Indian Prime Minister has congratulated Muizzu. He called for stronger bilateral relations between New Delhi and Male. But privately, India is playing wait and watch. Officials say both sides will have to work with each other. They emphasize that India is not anti-Maldives. Now, we've seen this with many leaders in the past. They campaign with rhetoric. But once in office, they tone it down. They realize that some relations are too important to abandon. Could President-elect Muizzu do the same? I'll tell you why I ask. Muizzu's foreign policy advisor is sending some positive signals. His name is Mohammad Sharif. He's the vice president of Muizzu's party. He's also the former Maldivian envoy to Sri Lanka and Japan. So he's a heavyweight. This advisor has said 3 important things. Number 1, India is the most important stakeholder in the Indian Ocean. Number 2, all the fear-mongering about China is unwarranted, meaning New Delhi doesn't have to worry. He says the Maldives will remain one of India's strongest allies. And point number 3 that he's made, Muizzu will make his first foreign trip to India. And this last point is diplomatic tradition. Every Maldivian president visits India first. Even Yameen, the brain behind India Out, did the same. In 2013, Yameen came to New Delhi after taking office. It was his first trip abroad. And looks like Muizzu will continue that trend. And this is indeed a very challenging situation for both sides. India cannot just shut the door on the Maldives, not after investing millions in the country. Similarly, the Maldives cannot shut the door on India. It is the largest neighbor, also the most reliable one. I'm sure Muizzu and company would have seen the events in Sri Lanka. They too trusted China. But in the end, it was India that stood by Colombo. So there is opportunity and risk here. It's an opportunity to show that India is pro-Maldives. It's not pro any particular party. India's commitment is to the people of the Maldives. New Delhi will have to work on this. But it will also have some red lines. Lines that the new president-elect must be wary of. And what are India's red lines? hosting Chinese assets in the Maldives, or strategic agreements, or joint projects like ports, or maybe visiting China first instead of India. Muizu needs to be mindful of all of this. Because now is the time for political maturity on both sides. The elections are done. The campaign rhetoric is behind us. Now it's all about policy. We know Muizu, the campaigner, was anti-India. The question is, will Muizu, the president, be the same? Staying with the neighborhood, let's check up on Imran Khan, cricketer turned Prime Minister turned Pakistan's most wanted. He's got some 180 cases against him. He's been in jail since August this year. It's become the army's most important mission to keep him there in jail. Even if the jail collapses, Imran Khan should not walk out. That is the army's objective. But his lawyers have now flagged a bigger issue, a threat to his life. Listen to this.
इमरान खान साहब की जान को शदीद खदशात हैं.
There is a threat to Imran Khan's life. He could be slow poisoned in jail and he's being mentally tortured. At night, we received a report that Imran Khan's jail cell has been downgraded.
किया गया है जो उससे तहरीक और बुरा है.
So Imran Khan could be slow poisoned. It's not a new claim. His party said the same thing in August as well, that Imran Khan's life was under threat. But how serious is this claim? Well, Pakistan's former prime ministers lead precarious lives. They're either exiled or jailed or worse. Like Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. He was arrested on murder charges in 1974. 5 years later, he was hanged to death. So history says, take it seriously. Plus, Imran Khan has been attacked in the past. Last November, there was an attempt on his life. Shots were fired at his rally in Punjab. Imran Khan sustained injuries on his leg. So is it possible? Yes, it is. This is Pakistan. Anything can happen to former prime ministers. But is it probable? Killing Imran Khan would make him a martyr. It would galvanize his supporters. You may remember what happened after Imran Khan's first arrest. It was in May this year. Thousands of his supporters took to the streets. Even army installations were not spared. But as always, the empire struck back. The protesters were arrested. Some of them were tried in military courts, and it worked. They stayed at home after Imran Khan's second arrest. So poking them again does not make sense. But the rest of it is entirely possible. The dingy prison cell, the mental torture, all of it is classic Pakistani army playbook. An attempt to mentally break Imran Khan, to make him throw in the towel. Until last week, Imran Khan was being held in the Attock jail. It's around 90 kilometers from the capital, Islamabad, but his lawyers wanted to shift him out. They said the facilities were really bad. The judge agreed, and Imran Khan was shifted to the Adiala jail in Rawalpindi. But the lawyers are still not happy. I guess they won't be happy until Imran Khan is released. His bail hearing is coming up soon. There is key disagreement on one aspect. The government wants to hold a closed trial, in camera, no public. That's what they want. They want the trial to be held inside the jail. Why is that? Well, the case is linked to a diplomatic cipher. It allegedly shows US involvement in toppling Imran Khan. He leaked this diplomatic cipher, so now he's been charged under the Official Secrets Act. The argument is that this is a sensitive case, hence no public. That's what the government says. But Imran Khan's lawyers challenged this move. They said the trial must be open to public. And today, the Islamabad High Court agreed. They said the bail hearing should be held in open court. The date is October 9. If he gets bail, Imran Khan could walk out, unless, of course, he's arrested in another case. That seems to be the army's thinking. Keep Imran Khan in jail until elections are over. Make sure that he cannot campaign. Now, to give you some context, elections will be held in January next year. That's a full 3 months later than scheduled. A lot could happen in that time. For starters, Nawaz Sharif is expected to return. His comeback is slated for the 21st of October. Sharif will fly from London to Abu Dhabi to Lahore. And what happens when he lands? Well, Nawaz Sharif has been declared a fugitive by Pakistani courts, so technically, they have to arrest him. Reports say Sharif's party will be filing a bail application. If not, his comeback could get complicated. So the next couple of weeks promise to be interesting. Imran Khan's bail hearing is first, then Nawaz Sharif's return. Both events are important in Pakistan's upcoming elections. and both have the same fingerprints, those of the Pakistan Army. Mahsa Amini. It's a name that became a war cry in Iran. In 2022, she died at the hands of Iran's morality police. Her crime? Not wearing a headscarf or hijab. Last year, this time, Iran's streets were full of protesters. They chanted her name. They called for justice. Many called it the Second Iranian Revolution. One year later, the streets of Iran are empty, the protesters have been silenced, and Iran's hijab laws have claimed another victim. Her name is Armita Garavand. She is 16 years old. She is currently in a coma. She was traveling in the Tehran metro. She was with her friends. That's when she was apprehended by female police officers. She was apparently stopped for not wearing a headscarf. That's the hijab. She was stopped for not wearing it. Reports suggest that there was a confrontation and that she was pushed by female officers. So she got badly injured. It was so bad that she had to be hospitalized, and currently she is in coma, battling for her life. Now, like Mahsa Amini, there are two versions to this story. One, other reports that are circulating online, they say that Garavand was attacked for not wearing a veil. They say she was beaten by the police. Then there is the state's version. They say the girl fainted because of low blood pressure and that the state authorities had nothing to do with this. So Iran is denying any involvement. But there's a video of the incident. It is doing the rounds on social media. It shows the unveiled teen being pushed into the metro. No one knows what happened inside. But when the doors open again, her immobile body is carried out. The girl is currently being treated at a Tehran hospital. She's under tight security. No one is allowed to visit her, not even her own family. But there's a picture of her with a bandaged head and neck. Her family was asked about this. They too called it a case of low blood pressure. Why then is this incident making so much news? It's because of the parallels it has with the Mahsa Amini case. Two young women, both unveiled, both encounter Iran's morality police. One ends up dead, the other is fighting for her life. Armita Garavand's family may not blame the state, but then again, what choice do they have? Look at what happened to Mahsa Amini's father. He was detained just weeks ago. Authorities warned him to not mark his daughter's first death anniversary. Which brings us to the story of Iran itself. The hijab was introduced in Iran after the 1979 revolution. Today, it has become a symbol of control to keep women in check. Most Iranians reject mandatory headscarves. A 2020 survey found that 72% Iranians opposed a compulsory hijab. 72%. But that's not changed anything. 1 year ago, the country lost Mahsa Amini. Thousands of people protested. The world expressed solidarity. The regime cracked down. People died. Many were arrested. Some were executed. But nothing changed. Iran's morality police are still very much active. And if anything, the rules have become stricter. So last year, it was Mahsa Amini. Today, it's Armita Garavand. Tomorrow, it could be someone else. These are ordinary Iranian women. They become targets because a few strands of hair escaped their headscarf. And it's not like they were not following the draconian rules. It's just that on that day, they missed it. For years, Iranian women have been making concessions every day. They wear loose clothes. They step out with the permission of a guardian. They cover their heads. These are not women who are rebelling. These are women going on with their lives despite everything. But at the end of the day, their concessions do not matter. One misstep, and you could be rounded up. You could be arrested, or worse. The world may put their faces on billboards or name streets after them, but beyond that, they have very little to offer to the women of Iran. So 1 year after Mahsa Amini's death, Iranian women are on their own again, facing persecution for trying to live their lives. Our next story is about a nuclear submarine crash. It involves a Chinese vessel, 55 sailors, and a trap that went horribly wrong. Apparently, the PLA let its soldiers die. It could have asked for help, but in the end, pride prevailed over compassion. A British newspaper has published this story, and China has denied it. We cannot independently verify it, but here's what it says. This alleged incident dates back to August. China's nuclear submarine was operating here in the Yellow Sea, close to the Shandong province. The sub was called 093417. Now, the 093 is a special type of submarine. China began inducting these some 15 years back, and it has at least 6 such vessels, 6 such submarines. Here's what makes them special. Experts say these subs have a modern design. They're more than 350 feet long, they're not noisy, and they come armed with torpedoes. Plus, they're nuclear powered. So they don't need any other fuel to run. These subs are powered by a small nuclear reactor. It is placed on board the vessel. And one such submarine is said to have become a death trap. Here's what happened in August. The submarine was on duty. There were 55 crew members on board, 22 officers, 7 officer cadets, 9 petty officers, 17 sailors. Now, when this vessel was submerged, it struck something, an obstacle, an anchor with a chain. Who put it there? Who put an anchor with a chain there? The Chinese. It's a tragic irony. They were caught in their own trap. The PLA often uses these. It drops these anchors near the Chinese waters. The idea is to deter enemy submarines, to stop the vessels from America and its allies, to ensure that they do not get too close. Plus, they're nuclear powered. So an accident like this can be very dangerous. Now, reports say that the Chinese did send help, but the repairs took 6 hours, and by the time they were done, it was too late. All the crew on board had died. It seems the oxygen system on the sub had failed. Instead of saving lives, it ended up poisoning the crew. It did not have to be like that, though. Reports say China could have asked for help. It had the option to seek international assistance, but it appears that Beijing did not explore that option. And we can understand why. China can be paranoid when it comes to military affairs. It goes to great lengths to keep secrets. So you can imagine their apprehension. Bringing in foreign help would have exposed the design of the submarine or the vulnerabilities of the Chinese Navy. According to an expert, China's submarines might be missing an important component. Listen to one of the assessments. If they were trapped in the net system and the submarine's batteries were running flat, which is plausible, then eventually the air purifiers and air treatment systems could have failed. We have a kit which absorbs carbon dioxide and generates oxygen in such a situation. It is probable that other nations do not have this kind of tech. And if that's the case, China would never call for outside help, even if it meant losing a submarine, even if it meant letting go of 55 of its people, letting them die, 55 sailors. Beijing may have wanted to bury the matter, but someone in the West was watching. The United Kingdom was watching. A report has been published. It says the British intelligence made an assessment, and this assessment was leaked. I also have some quotes from that. Our understanding is death caused by hypoxia, that is lack of oxygen due to a system fault on the submarine. This is the assessment from London. The British have refused to talk about this in public. What about Beijing? China has issued a denial. It says this never happened. Strangely, Taiwan too has spoken about it. The alleged crash happened near the strait. Does Taipei know about it? Taiwan's military was asked this question. Do they know about what happened? They say they've not detected anything. Their surveillance did not pick anything up. So it's difficult to verify these claims, but one thing is for sure, if these reports are accurate, it would expose a major failure on the PLA's part, a Chinese submarine caught in a Chinese trap. Beijing has every reason to conceal the truth here. And staying on the topic of disasters, let's look at the US, specifically the drama unfolding in the US Congress. They made history yesterday. The House of Representatives has removed its Speaker. This has never happened before. Kevin McCarthy has been forced out, that too by members of his own party. The move was orchestrated by Florida Republican Matt Gaetz. He's part of a hard-right Republican faction. This group has just 8 members and they decided to oust McCarthy. These 8 Republicans succeeded because all the Democratic Party lawmakers voted along with them. It's a tale of infighting, opportunism, and moral failure. Or you could say, just another Tuesday in American politics. Here's our report.
Chair will now entertain requests for 1-minute speeches.
Is America's grand old party crumbling? Infighting is tearing the Republicans apart. Yesterday, rebels in the party brought down House Speaker Kevin McCarthy.
Doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it is necessary. I don't regret standing up for choosing governance over grievance.
That farewell speech sounds quite noble, as though McCarthy made a great sacrifice, and he was being punished for his moral fortitude. He certainly wants people to believe that.
Saturday, I took a risk for the American public.
Sir, when did you make this?
McCarthy says he was ousted over the temporary government spending bill. The bill prevented a partial U.S. government shutdown. It was passed at the 11th hour on Saturday. Some Republicans, led by McCarthy, and some Democrats came together to see it through. It was a compromise that delayed the government shutdown by 45 days, and McCarthy says he was ousted for making that compromise. But that's not the whole story. You see, McCarthy's position as House Speaker has been shaky from the start. It took him 4 days and 15 ballots to get elected to the post. This is usually considered a formality, but not for McCarthy. He was made to work for the Speaker's chair. But some didn't vote for McCarthy even at the very end.
Mr. Speaker, my friend from Oklahoma says that my colleagues and I who don't support Kevin McCarthy would plunge the House and the country into chaos. Chaos is Speaker McCarthy. Chaos is somebody who we cannot trust with their word.
That was Congressman Matt Gaetz. He filed the motion to get McCarthy ousted. As you can see, he's quite passionate in his opposition to McCarthy, as are the other 7 members of his faction. There are 221 Republicans in the U.S. House of Representatives, but these 8 were enough to bring McCarthy down. They just needed a little help from the Democrats. Help the Democrats were happy to provide. 208 Democrats voted with these 8 rebels. The final tally was 216 to 210. McCarthy had to go. The ousted Speaker had something to say about that.
Everybody's sitting there. In today's world, if you're sitting in Congress and you took a gamble to make sure government was still open, and 8 people can throw you out as Speaker, and the Democrats who said they wanted to keep government open, I think you've got a real divide. I think you've got a real institutional problem.
The U.S. Congress does have an institutional problem, but the institution with the problem is the Republican Party, a problem of old versus new, traditional Republicans versus the supporters of Donald Trump. To understand this, you have to look at the big picture. Gaetz and his faction have no loyalty to the party. Their loyalties lie with one man, Trump. They want to lay the groundwork for Trump's return to the White House and hope they'll be rewarded for their efforts. That's why Gaetz and his band of hardliners were angry that McCarthy worked with the Democrats. Anything that helps Joe Biden, even a little, is unacceptable to the Trump troop. This is why McCarthy had to go. The next U.S. presidential election is gearing up to be a rematch, Biden versus Trump again. Before the election, Gaetz and the other 7 in the Republican Party don't want compromise or a solution. They want dysfunction. The goal itself is chaos. Chaos that could help usher in another Trump presidency.
It's raining medals for India at the Asian Games, our highest haul ever. India's previous best was 71 medals at the 2018 Games. And this year, we've already crossed 80 medals. And remember, it's not done yet. We have around 4 days of action left. India is now placed 4th on the medal tally. Only South Korea, Japan and China rank above us. Let's focus on today's victories. The men's hockey team had a great day today. They entered the finals by beating South Korea, so it's a medal guaranteed for India. It was a great day at the archery range as well. India won gold in the compound mixed team event. Jyoti Surekha Venam and Ojas Pravin Deotale defeated South Korea in the finals. Of course, all eyes were on athletics. India won silver in the women's 800 meter and men's 5,000 meters. Also a silver in the 4x400 women's relay. So a very impressive day. And topping it off was Neeraj Chopra, India's golden boy. He defended his Asian Games medal successfully. He clinched gold in the men's javelin throw. Not without some drama though. Neeraj's first throw was wiped off by a glitch. Everyone waited for the distance to appear on the screen, but it never did. The officials claim the equipment did not work. It couldn't measure the distance of the throw. Whatever the reason, he had to try again. And Neeraj hit 82.3 meters. His first attempt looked much longer though. The one that was wiped out, it was more than this. Many users on social media pointed that out. They said, it's unfair on Neeraj Chopra. Now, most people would be disheartened by this. You throw well, only for the distance to be wiped out. But not Neeraj Chopra. He pushed on. He faced stiff competition from a fellow Indian, Kishore Kumar Jena. For a brief while, Jena was in the gold medal position. Neeraj was in the silver slot. But on his fourth attempt, he showed everyone why he is a world champion. Neeraj Chopra delivered his best throw of the season. Just imagine that. You're in a clutch situation. You need a great throw to win gold, and you deliver your season best. That's Neeraj Chopra for you. Kishore Jena ended up with a silver medal. Both athletes then posed together with the Indian flag. It was a great day for Indian athletics. And of course, Neeraj Chopra had to headline it. I don't think there's a debate anymore. He is the best Indian athlete ever. At the age of 25, just look at his resume. Gold at the 2018 Commonwealth Games, gold at the 2018 Asian Games, gold at the 2020 Olympics, then gold at the 2023 World Championship, and now gold again at the Asian Games. No Indian athlete can come close to this. We've had flashes of brilliance before, like P.T. Usha at the 1984 Olympics. She missed out on bronze by a whisker. Same with Milkha Singh in 1960. He came within a photo finish of the podium. They showed us what's possible. And now Neeraj Chopra is delivering it. Not once or twice, but event after event. And that's what sets him apart. The way he delivers consistently at every event. The way he comes to life on the big stage. That's what separates the good from the great. On television, it may look easy to us, but trust me, Neeraj Chopra's confidence is hard-earned. That's the stuff we do not see. The hundreds of hours spent in training, the holidays missed, all of that adds up to the success. It's an inspiration for every Indian athlete. Because let's be honest, India has never been a sporting power. We don't get bags of medals at the Olympics, which is why athletes like Neeraj Chopra are so important. Their success shows us it is possible. Indians can dominate elite sports. We can consistently do well at global events. And it's already rubbing off. India won gold in the men's 4x400 meters relay today. The same team holds the Asian record. They set the fastest Asian time during this year's World Championship. They finished 5th behind Jamaica, Britain, France, and the US. Again, it's a huge achievement. Relays are a very tough event to ace. But India was the best Asian team at the World Championships, and today they reaffirmed that. Like I said, consistency. We still have 4 days to go in the Asian Games, so chances are there will be more medals. It's a massive confidence boost for India, especially ahead of 2024. Next year, Paris is hosting the Olympics. India will be looking to carry on this momentum. Of course, all eyes will be on Neeraj Chopra. He will return to the grand stage as a 26-year-old defending gold medalist. It's huge pressure for anybody, but if anyone can handle it, it's this young man. And since we mentioned the Paris Olympics, let's also look at the headlines in France. The country is facing an invasion of bed bugs. The blood-sucking insects are back in Paris and in other cities. Bed bugs were supposed to have been killed off in the 1950s, but they're back with a vengeance in hotels, in trains, in cinema halls. The little creatures have been popping up everywhere, apparently. French authorities are alarmed. They're trying to address this outbreak on a war footing. Emergency meetings are being held all over France. But the question is Is this really a new phenomenon? Or has it become a big deal for different reasons? After all, the Olympic Games are coming to Paris next year, and no country wants players to win bedbug bites instead of medals. Here's our report.
Sofas, cushions, high-speed trains. Bedbugs seem to be everywhere, like a scourge that has descended upon France. The French media is in a frenzy. They're pushing out one doomsday headline after the other, and the people are panicking.
This has really traumatized me. I'm actually taking a train right now, and to be honest, I'm quite scared.
It's surprising. The fact that we can actually see them means there's a lot of them. In addition, they're being seen in the day when they usually come out at night. So there's a big problem somewhere.
This panic has spread to the lawmakers. The French transportation minister is holding meetings with transport operators. He says he wants to reassure and protect the public. The Paris City Council is on high alert as well.
In Paris, we've seen a resurgence in the presence of bedbugs in movie theatres and public transport, and at the same time, the agency in charge of information on housing has also observed an increase in the number of homeowners and tenants with questions about how to act in the face of bedbugs.
A part of this panic revolves around the upcoming Paris Olympics. Next year, tens of thousands of visitors are expected to come to Paris. They'll be put up in hotels around the city. Some will inevitably travel around the rest of France. And the French people don't want their guests taking home bad memories and a bug infestation, even though travelers may be part of the problem.
The first reports of bedbug infestations are coming from the big hotels, the palaces, the five-star hotels, where there are no hygiene problems, that's for sure. It's people who have travelled and brought back bedbugs and left them in the hotel.
France was supposed to have gotten rid of bedbugs in the 1950s, but people travelling to other parts of the world seem to have brought some back. Bedbugs can get into your luggage. They can make an overseas journey in your suitcase and then multiply once you get back home. But it's not just the foreign bugs that are infesting France. They have some tough homegrown varieties as well. After World War II, powerful insecticides like DDT were sprayed all over Europe. These did kill a lot of bedbugs, but not all of them. Some insecticide-resistant bugs survived, and the ones you see today are their descendants, making today's bugs very hard to kill. For years now, bedbug numbers have been on the rise in France. Between 2017 and 2022, 11% of French homes had been infested. This is according to France's National Health and Sanitary Body. They've been tracking this bedbug crisis for years. In fact, in 2020, France even launched a bedbug information hotline to counter the menace. So why the sudden panic then?
In reality, we've always had bedbugs in Paris. We have to realize that. Now, the only difference is that it's being talked about a lot in the media right now, with all that's happening in trains and cinemas. So everyone is panicking a bit.
Media hype and social media videos are leading to the new wave of panic. There's no sudden invasion or infestation. It's a problem that's been decades in the making. But that doesn't mean the new attention is unwelcome. Bedbugs may be relatively harmless, but they are still pests. This new panic wave could finally lead to the bedbugs taking a long dirt nap, aka death.
There are few things we find more compelling than the story of an underdog, someone who overcomes the odds and achieves self-made success. Each generation has its own version for this inspiration. The same goes for Gen Z. These are people born between 1996 and 2010, Gen Z. And for them, influencers are the underdogs. Now, who are influencers? People who are famous on social media. They provide consistent and relatable content. They cultivate an audience, and then they influence this audience to promote brands or spread awareness. Until 2019, the word influencer could not be found in some dictionaries. But since then, the industry has doubled in value globally. Last year, it was worth $16.4 billion. The influencer industry, $16.4 billion. Needless to say, today influencing has become a real job. There are influencer agents, training courses, conferences, networking events, and now there's even a college degree for it. A university in Ireland is offering a bachelor's degree in influencing. It's a first for the country and reportedly a first for the world. Several dozen students will join this course next year to get a leg up in this attention-driven, fiercely competitive profession. They will undertake several courses like crisis management, public relations, celebrity studies, social psychology, and video and audio editing. After all, influencing is not just about having your own TikTok account. It can be that and much more. Let me give you an example. This is Olivia Rodrigo, a Grammy Award-winning 20-year-old singer. She's considered a Gen Z influencer. In 2021, she was invited by the White House. It was all part of a campaign to encourage young people to get vaccinated, and she did just that. She created a series of meticulously planned content for social media. Pictures of Rodrigo and President Joe Biden wearing aviators went viral. The visit was a success. But she wasn't the real influencer at play here. It was a man named Landon Morgado. He orchestrated this entire event. Now, the usual bunch of publicists and managers. Morgado is an influencer who was hired by the White House. His job was to direct creator partnerships. It's a real job. And it goes to show how far the influencer industry has come. But the US government is not an isolated case. The government of India is doing it too, partnering with influencer marketing companies. This is to educate people about social media. In 2021, the Canadian government spent more than $600,000 in hiring influencers. In 2018, Singapore's government hired influencers to promote its budget. More than 75% of brands, including Coca-Cola and Dior, have a dedicated budget for influencer marketing. And now the young want in. A survey says 1 in 4 Gen Zers, that's a word I'm told, want to become social media influencers, 1 in 4. This goes to show how many of them are looking beyond the 9-to-5 job. They want more. They want to be in control of their time. They want to be creative. Some simply love the free stuff that comes with being an influencer. No judgments here. But there's a price to pay. According to another survey, 54% young people said they'd want to become an influencer if they could. And that's the catch here, if they could. Because influencing can take people places. It's a creative industry, meaning it is also volatile. There are odd hours. Work is unstructured, cyber harassment is rampant, and social media algorithms keep changing. Will this industry be thriving 5 decades later? There's no certainty. Will a college degree in influencing protect these young people from the realities of work life? Well, much like other careers, not really. Historically, universities train students for careers as opposed to jobs. Over time, jobs have changed, but education has not. A college degree is supposed to help students get an edge. Yet many say they could have done just as well without it. 56% of Americans believe that getting a college degree was not worth it. 48% of Britons regret their decision to go to college. In fact, this is a trend across the world. 44% of all job holders with college degrees regret their degree of choice. What's the most regretted college major the world over? I can't say this with a straight face, but journalism. 87% of journalism degree holders are filled with regret, followed by sociology and communications. This is not to say that a college degree is useless. It simply means a degree does not guarantee success. Who knows if someday a degree in influencing will join the ranks of regrets. After all, like many other professions, like being an artist or a writer or a chef, one doesn't really necessarily need a degree for influencing. So only time will tell if the influencer degree gets any takers. We say some are born influencers, some achieve influencing, and some have influencing thrust upon them. And now it's time for Vantage Shots, images that tell the story. In the US, a service dog stole the show at a White House ceremony after it fell asleep on US President Joe Biden's shoe. In Lebanon, 2 lion cubs have been rescued. They were being smuggled into the country from Syria. A 104-year-old woman in the US is proving that age is just a number. She's become the oldest person to ever skydive after jumping from a height of 13,500 feet. And finally, we're taking you back in history. On this day in 1957, the Soviet Union became the first nation in space. It launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial satellite to orbit the Earth. This kicked off the space race between the USSR and the US. We're leaving you on that note. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Down. Good boy. Stay.
Me too.
Yes, stay. I feel so powerful all of a sudden. For you today as a proud disabled woman with my cane and my service dog Scout by my side to
Back on ground. Safe and sound. That was amazing.
Wonderful, wonderful.
It's the dream of every cricketer, the ultimate glory. Few manage to keep their date with destiny. But for many, it's been heartbreaks and a cross to bear. The Holy Grail is here in India. I'm Rupa Ramani, and Firstpost brings you the ringside view. We bring you the Cup of Dreams, Cricket World Cup coverage like never before.